Well guys, if you haven't heard the news, I was in a motorcycle accident. If you guys don't follow me on Instagram, go follow me. I posted a picture, it happened last Sunday, explaining what happened, briefly explaining what happened, and showing a picture pretty much of me getting in the accident. Not me getting in it, but the damage to my bike. So I'm on my way home from getting an estimate right now, and bad news, boys. The bike is totaled. So I haven't told anyone on YouTube what exactly happened yet, but here's what happened. So I was driving through town, this little town by my house, and there was a lot of people at this restaurant. There's like a strip of a couple restaurants, and there was a lot of people at these restaurants on the left-hand side. So all these people were outside eating, they had live performers and all that good stuff, right? So I was driving by it, and I came to a stop. There was 2 cars in front of me. The car all the way in the front threw it in reverse and was trying to parallel park into a spot. But the guy in between us did not give her enough room, so she started screaming at him to tell him to back up. I guess the kid panicked. I don't really know exactly what happened, but she was going to parallel park, so she started pulling in, and he didn't give her enough room, so he threw it into reverse and just like did not look behind him and just drove right up onto my bike. It was on the left side of his car, so when he rode up onto me, the bike started pulling left, but luckily I was able to get my feet down and hold the bike there. I was able to hold the bike up until he drove off of me. So everyone at the restaurant, like everyone saw it. They were all looking at me and they were all like, oh my God, like they were freaking out, these people at the restaurant. So I was livid. I feel a little bad for acting the way I did. I was furious, so I pulled up next to him. I was like, what the fuck? Like, what are you doing? What was that? And he was like, I'm sorry, whatever. So I was like, okay, pull over. So he pulls over, but like he turns the corner and pulls over in the middle of the street and just throws his blinkers on. I was like, no, pull over into a fucking parking lot. Like, what are you doing? So he pulls over into a parking lot. He's like, he gets out, he's like, I'm sorry. So I was livid. I didn't say a word to him. I took out my insurance and registration and all that, let him take pictures. I took pictures of his. And then he was like, oh, do I need anything else? I was like, no, you can leave. And I didn't file a police report because this is why. I was like, oh shit, I need his phone number too, his name and phone number. Well, not his name, that's on his insurance card, but I was like, I need his phone number. So I ran back over to him before he left, and I knocked on his window, and I was like, hey, and he was like really reluctant to roll down the window. So he rolls it down, and he's like, what's up? And I was like, let me get your phone number too. And he's like, okay, and he reads me his phone number. But as soon as the second he rolled down his window, I could just smell the weed. His whole car reeked of weed, so I'm assuming him and the passenger were both high. So that's why I didn't file a police report, because I felt bad for the kid. It was a really young kid. He was probably a sophomore, junior in high school, if I had to say. And yes, he did back into me, and it was his fault. But I felt a little bad for the kid. So I don't want to call the police to file a police report and then come and get him on like a minor drug charge or something stupid. I just didn't want to screw the kid over like that. I wouldn't want someone doing, but not that I do that, but I wouldn't want someone doing that to me, and having the police get involved on something so small, you know what I'm talking about? So I was like, nah, I'm not gonna call the cops and make this kid's day even worse. Plus, after a little research, I found out his mother's a lieutenant for a local police department around me. So that's what happened, and then I was like, okay, well, I need a witness just in case. So I drove back around to the restaurants, and I pulled up in front of him, and some guy comes out to me, he's like, hey, a couple of pieces of your bike were in the middle of the road. I picked them up, and I handed them to this guy over there who said he could throw them in the dumpster behind his house. Like, if you need them, he has them. I was like, nah, I'm good, I don't need them, but thanks, I appreciate it. So then I was like, hey, would you mind just being a witness in case I need one? Could I just get your like name and phone number? And he's like, honestly, I wish I could, but I didn't even see it happen. This guy, he had his back turned. He was talking to family or friends, and he had his back turned when it happened, and then he didn't turn around until after it had happened, so he didn't really see all the stuff leading up to it. So he was like, unfortunately, I can't. But he pointed me in the direction of this guy who did see it, and it was the bongo players for this like live band performing. So I was like, okay, cool, thanks. So I walk up to the bongo guy, and I was like, hey, I was the one who was just in that accident, and I was wondering if I could get you to be a witness. I heard that you saw it. And he's like, I think everybody saw it. And I was like, yeah, they did. Can I get your name and phone number? And at first he was a little reluctant, but he was like, yeah, sure. So I got his name and phone number as a witness in case I need one, but I hope I don't need one. So you guys are probably wondering, Rob, if you totaled your motorcycle, why the hell are you on it right now? And that's a good question. I really don't have a choice. So I jumped off at the first place to get an estimate, but the guy who does their estimates was out in California at a Ducati event for 2 weeks, so I was like, I can't wait for that. So he just gave me a rough estimate, and then I took it to an actual place a little farther away for a real estimate. And I just picked up the bike today, and they called me the other day telling me it was totaled. I really don't have a choice. Yes, the bike is totaled, but I did drive it out there. Like, once I got in the accident, I drove it out there to get the estimate. I knew I was able to because I drove it home from the accident as well. So I figured, well, I don't have a choice. I kind of have to drive it home. So I'm riding the bike home despite what I would want to do. I would ideally want to throw it on a trailer. I don't really want to be risking this right now, but I don't have a choice, unfortunately. All of our cars that have trailer hitches aren't home right now. They're all out of town, and obviously the Camaro doesn't have a trailer hitch, and I just really don't have an option. You guys are probably wondering, well, what was damaged that the bike's totaled? So I'm riding it right now, so I can't really show you everything. But when I get home, well, I can throw up pictures of the accident. I'll throw them up. But I will also, when I get home, I'll hop off the bike and I'll show you a little walk around, kind of what happened. But it's a lot of my front ends messed up, and his wasn't that bad, honestly. I don't know why, I don't know how, but his damage on his car wasn't that bad. It was a lot of scratches, wasn't really dense. And then part of my fairing was stuck in the rear end of his car, and I left it there. I didn't give a shit. I would just kind of want to let you guys know that the CBR was totaled. And that kind of sucks because I was just planning all these things to do to it, and right when that happens, it gets totaled. For those of you guys who don't know, it's really easy to total a motorcycle. Any damage, well, most damage to the forks will total it. If I heard this thing too, and I'm pretty sure it's true, if there's any scratch, dent, bend, anything bigger than the size of a dime on your frame, it's automatically totaled. So because of that, bikes are really easily totaled. Plus, when it comes to fairings, fairings can be $500 or higher each. So that shit adds up really quickly. But yeah, this means a couple things. It means I'm going to be bike shopping. Oh my god. It means I'm going to be bike shopping again, hopefully, as long as they give me a decent value for this bike, which they better. So I'm going to be getting a new bike. I have no idea what yet. I really am not sure. Ideally, part of me really wants another CBR, but I don't know that I'm going to get that. I really have no idea at this point. I've done a little bit of searching, but for the most part, I have no idea what I'm going to get. Another thing is, I also won't be able to record videos for a little while until I get the check from the insurance company, until I get the new bike. I can't really make videos. I have a couple demo day videos that I recorded of me test riding some bikes, so I'm going to throw them up. I really don't think I'm going to make any Camaro videos, but I'm not going to have a ton of footage for you guys, unfortunately. I just don't have all like that footage saved like some other vloggers do. I just don't have a hard drive full of unused footage. So I apologize in advance. I'm not going to be able to make videos really steadily again until I get a new bike. Which you guys will be involved in the whole bike process. When I get a new bike, I'll do a whole bike reel for you guys, and it'll be cool. But in the meantime, there's nothing I can really do. I don't have a bike to ride. I don't want to ride this at all because it's totaled. I want to stay off it as much as possible. I'm only riding it home because I literally have to. I have no other choice. So at the very end of this video, like I said, I'll show you the damage of the bike. I'll give you a brief explanation, and you guys can see what happened. So yeah, guys, I hate to tell you the CBR was totaled, but it was. Like, people, when they get in motorcycle accidents, a lot of people were asking, they were like, oh, are you done riding bikes? And like, fuck no, I'm not done riding bikes. It was a minor accident that easily totaled this bike. I don't know what else to tell you. Obviously, I'm not done riding bikes. I love riding motorcycles, and I am going to continue this channel and continue riding. So no, you don't need to worry about that, guys. I'm going to continue riding. So I appreciate your patience, guys. Like I said, there's nothing I can do. I'm really doing my best here to get this all settled as quickly as possible for you guys.
So as you can see, here's the damage. The car, it like rode up onto the front, and as you can see, it messed up this whole front cowl. It scratched my headlight. It absolutely destroyed this little wheel piece, this like front wheel fairing, whatever you want to call it. Blew my forks on that side. I don't know, it doesn't look like it blew the forks on this side, but it might have. Scuffed up the tire a little bit right here, if you guys can see that. I'm pretty sure it bent the wheel. That's what it said on the estimate, so I think it bent the wheel, which I know that's not the smartest thing to be driving on, but like I said, I have no choice. It scratched up both the forks. The forks are kind of messed up. Destroyed all the connections for the fairings here, so the side fairings are messed up. And then a few little things around the bike and on top, but nothing major over there. But all the damage was pretty much taken from here down and just kind of frigged everything up here. So that was the damage to the CBR.
That's all she wrote, though. Please go ahead and like this video if you enjoyed it. Give it a thumbs up. If it's your first time stopping in and you want to see a new bike, it's going to be kind of like a whole new, it's going to be like a fresh start for the people who are new to the channel. So hit that subscribe button. And even though I don't know what it'll be, I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Peace.